Hey, Jeziel here for another episode of Table Talk, where we give short answers to tall topics. And joining me today, we have the pleasure of having Craig Hunter. He's the Vice Principal and Teacher at Rehoboth Christian College. Craig, always a pleasure having you at the table. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Jeziel.
What are you bringing to the table today?
Well, big topic. This time of the year is reports.
Of course.
Our kids get reports, and it can be quite a challenging time for kids and for parents.
Okay.
Fear, joy, disappointment, especially if it's not what you are hoping to get.
Yeah, with these reports, I mean, we've all had them. My one's always kind of said the same thing. Easily distracted.
Has lots of potential. That one,
lots of potential. Yeah.
If you just would focus a bit more.
It's like you were my principal. Are they meant to be scary for both the parents and the kids? What is the essence and the reason behind giving these reports?
I think the reports are a snapshot, and if we see that as part of our journey rather than the final definition of who we are, I think it's going to help us. And I would encourage us as parents to sit with our kids and listen and get the reports out, print it out, because often it's online now.
Yeah, okay.
Print it out, sit with them, and just say, how do you feel about your report? How do you feel about this? And get them to talk. All of a sudden, we take the pressure off performance,
Right.
which is a big part of our culture, and navigate our way through some of those big words and some of those comments, because we compare ourselves, don't we?
For sure.
And so as parents, we do that with our kids, and we often think our kids should deserve better or should be doing better. And I've been guilty of that as a parent, where I've like, if they would have just focused more and not got distracted, they could have achieved more. And it's tough being a parent because we live in a performance culture, and we often want those things for our kids as well.
Okay, so you mentioned, sit them down and talk to them. How do you feel about this? What if they are perfectly comfortable with the results that you are bringing to them, but you as a parent aren't? What do you do in that space?
Yeah, so I think it's about formation. That end of the day, God is forming our kids, and we are taking them He's taking them, and we're taking them on a journey. And so there's different seasons of kids' life. And I guess one thing is that school's not for everyone. Like a teacher doesn't necessarily connect with them. That subject doesn't connect with every kid. And so I think the more that we can take pressure off our kids, the better. But the more we can have conversations about inspiring them and leading them, that's a better attitude. So if they're ambivalent towards their marks, it's like, what's going on there? Let's dig a little bit deeper and find out why is it. There's a whole lot of factors going on. And sometimes one of the big things we're finding out more and more is learning difficulties, or that they're struggling with different things, and yet we're pressuring them to be something that maybe they're not wired to do.
All right. What are some of the common mistakes that we make as we grab the report card? Common mistakes, can you run us through a few of them?
Yes, I think the biggest one is to compare. We compare them with our siblings. Do you get compared, Jeziel?
For sure. Yeah.
Why couldn't you
100%.
be like your older brother? No, I had the
We're
opposite.
different people.
I had the opposite one, where my brother and sister were actually not very good students.
Oh.
So I was like the golden child. Like, oh, finally, one of our kids is doing well. But comparing to other kids, I think blame. I told you you should have worked harder. We blame our kids. And all of a sudden, reports become a scary time because we blame them. I think we're often too busy. So we often go, oh, what did you get? 3 A's, 2 B's? Oh, okay, well, you should have done better. Anyway, I'm busy. I can't talk to you right now. I think busyness is a problem, that we don't sit down, talk with our kids as well. I think the last one is just to see the big picture. It's not just all about maths and English in a grade. They're more than that. It's music, it's art, it's their attitude. It's how are they treating other kids? How are they working with others?
Yeah.
Let's look at the whole child and look at that in our reports. That's a mistake we make. We look at those marks as a grade that puts them on a ranking.
Yeah.
That's not how God sees us, and that's not, as parents, how we really want to see our kids either, is it?
That's awesome. Okay, back on to the actual physical report card, looking at it. How do we read this? Because I've looked at different people's reports and they all seem a bit vague, and I'm going, is this good? Is this bad? How are we meant to look at it and actually go through and read it for ourselves?
Well, I think the first thing is there should be no surprises.
Okay.
What that means is that if your teacher is communicating to you and you're communicating to your teacher, and you know your kid, you're knowing where they're at. You know how they're progressing, and so you shouldn't be like, "Wow, you got a D. I never knew this at the last week of school." Oh, wow, you got an A. You're really smart. That's a surprise. We should be. The report is kind of a snapshot of how they're going, And so if we're not hearing from the teachers of the school, we should be pushing in. Hey, can you let me know how my child's going, how they're going? There's a lot more what's called formative assessments now. Formative is like an ongoing track of how our child's going. A lot of schools are doing that a lot better.
Right, okay.
And as parents, we should be pushing in and going, hey, how's my child going? Are they tracking okay? Any issues in that? So I would say that's one big area. But also remember that reports are a snapshot and different. So the other challenge is that we think an A is the ultimate and 98%. But some teachers are like, well, you've got a C. It means you're at level. You're at grade 2 and you're tracking at grade 2. You know it all. So that's a C.
Right.
Well, other teachers are like, no, they're doing really well. I'm going to give them an A because I'm so proud of them.
Yeah, right.
And so even teachers will vary a little bit in terms of their reporting.
Right, okay. That's
And
very
so
interesting, yeah.
remember that a C doesn't mean bad. Because for some of us grow up with C means bad, but C means actually they're tracking okay.
Yeah,
and they'll change. So I think in my kids, sometimes got C's in some years, B's in others, A's, and it varies teacher to teacher. And so look at the big arc of how they're traveling, their attitude, their love of learning, their love of school. They're the things to watch out for as well.
Nice. You mentioned at the start that this shouldn't be a surprise. The report card shouldn't blow your mind, and that you should be catching up with the teachers. How much should we push? Because I feel like these days sometimes parents are maybe too pushy and want to know every single day. So where's that line, if there is one?
Yeah, I think the line is probably our attitude as a parent. Are we doing it because we're trying to control our kids? Or are we doing it because we genuinely want to see how they're going? And if that's, just check ourselves. My big thing, including myself, and I was talking to Mike Crichton about this, is that when you're quite frustrated about something, that's not the time to ring or email. Like you're really mad about something, right, I'm going to email right now. Then we click send. And I see those ones that I've done it myself, like, I can't believe I just wrote that or I did that. So let it sit for a day if we are frustrated about something. But I'd say, I don't know, there's no golden rule, but you think about 25 kids in a class. If every parent is emailing every day, they'll spend their whole time trying to respond to those emails. So really, 2 or 3 times a term, I think is good. And really, hopefully, a lot of those teachers are regularly corresponding, or there's a two-way relationship there. So more than that, I think, is a bit pushy. It is becoming a bit one of those parents.
Yeah, okay. One of those parents.
One of those parents, Jeziel. Just keep that in mind.
I won't be one of those parents.
No way. And Beck won't be either, that's for sure. No.
How do we help our kids after they've got the report card? Let's say they aren't happy with it. How do we help them get to where they want to be?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that our kids know that we love them no matter how they've gone. Because really, reports should be a celebration wherever they're at. You know how you're on a journey. We're on a journey of life, and they're on a journey of learning. So that should be an opportunity to encourage them and tell them how much we love them and how proud we are of them because they're doing their best. Or if they're not doing their best, then you know what? We still love them just the same.
Yeah.
And they're forming on that journey, and there's other factors going on. I think that's important. I think encourage progress. Hey, it's really good here. I can see that you've got an extra mark here, or you've really improved in art, and it looks like you've really got some talents there. So we're trying to find areas of growth, areas of stretch. Are they stretching themselves in their learning? Because they could be really bright, but bored. So where are you stretching yourself? Where are you learning? So that's important. Ask questions. So how do you feel about this teacher, or how do you feel about that subject? What was something interesting that you learned this year in science? Right. And that way it gets them to talk about their learning rather than us berating them and lecturing them about how bad or good they've done.
Yeah, okay.
You only got 98%? Wow, that kid got 99. What happened there? Well, what did you miss out on? So you get that kind of thing. So I think, again, we're encouraging them in their learning, not judging them on a benchmark.
I love that. I should have got you to bring in your report card as the golden child of your family.
Well,
would have been nice just to go through.
And my wife's got the extreme one, so she's got that one of like, always talking too much. Yep. Easily distracted and distracts others.
We should have had them side by side. Opposites attract, right?
That's it. Yes, that's true.
Hey, thank you so much. Family, my guest at Table Talk today, it is Craig Hunter. He's the Vice Principal of Rehoboth Christian College and, of course, a teacher and just an all-round great guy. Thank you so much for having a chat with us.
Thanks, Jeziel. Pleasure.
And if you liked this episode, good news, there's loads more. Head online, 98five.com. We've also got a YouTube channel, so make sure you like and subscribe.